Yeah, Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and Tell, Sis and Tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
I have a new place to shop, and you're going to think it's tacky.
I don't even know, because there's no place I wouldn't shop, so.
Maybe this place.
What is it?
Where everything is free. Okay, are you ready? So first I have to give you some background.
Okay.
So Decatur has fall break. We're on fall break. We're in Destin, and we go to our favorite place, the back porch, which is, right across from where we're staying. And Aaron, we get here and we're just like, we're going to back porch. You're in the car for like 6 hours and you just want a meal. So we go, he can't find his sunglasses or his hat. And I'm like, it'll be fine. We're sitting inside, but we're sitting right next to this window. The sun is in his eyes. And I'm like, just go to the gift shop and buy some sunglasses. So he goes, and their card reader isn't working. They try like 3 or 4 times, and he comes back and he's like, it's fine, whatever. I'm like, where are mine? He's like, no. And then I'm like, I'm going to go. Give me a second.
Hold on. I want to predict this. Can I predict what maybe you did? Did you go to the lost and found of the restaurant? Is this what's coming? Because I can't hold back.
Yeah, this is exactly what I did. So I went to the hostess station and I said, hey, I have a really strange request. I said, my husband can't find his sunglasses. He tried to buy them from your gift shop, but the card reader's not working. I go, do you have a lost and found? And maybe we can just borrow some sunglasses from there. And she goes, oh, yeah. She hands me this huge bag and she goes,
I mean, you're at the beach. There must be 400 pairs of sunglasses.
That's what I'm saying. And this is totally end of season. Like, this is 2 weeks after Labor Day weekend. And she goes, you know what? You just take whatever you want in there. No one's coming back for any of this stuff. So I take this huge grocery bag full of God knows what over to the table.
Wait,
and
she
I'm
gave you the whole box?
The whole bag, right? Because I started to look at it at the hostess station. She goes, just take it with you to the table. It's fine. It doesn't matter. So I was like, Aaron, have your pick. and it was like the weirdest collection of like goggles and readers and mostly women's sunglasses. And then there was one pair of sunglasses that kind of fit him, that kind of looked like knockoff Ray-Bans. And so that's what he chose. And I picked out a really cute pair of Michael Kors sunglasses.
And a new bra. It looks great.
A new pair of underwear. And there. I'm like, like the lost and found is just like, I wouldn't always do that. I wouldn't get clothes from there. But when you are desperate,
yeah,
it was like a great source for sunglasses.
You know what? Not only do I not find that tacky, I think it's ingenious. I really do.
What else are they going to do with all that stuff?
I feel like it's like a new, reality show come to life. Instead of like American Pickers and all these places where they go antiquing and finding treasures, I think you should just go lost and founding.
I'm going to give you the lost and found challenge. Okay? Next time you are at a restaurant, go up to the lost and found.
I know. I'm just going to say, and should I be honest about it or pretend I've lost something?
No, I mean,
sunglasses are the obvious. That's probably one of the most lost items at a restaurant because you put them down.
Yeah.
But I do need new readers.
I was struck by the amount of readers they had in there. They had equal part readers to equal part sunglasses.
Well, and that's because once you've lost your readers, you can't find them because you need your readers to find your readers.
And you're blinded by the sun.
And you're
really
blinded by the sun.
See.
You can't find anything. I told somebody the other day that I'd gotten so used to my readers, especially during COVID, that I was jogging along the riverfront. And it wasn't until I got back into my car and looked in the mirror that I realized I had been wearing my readers for the past 40 minutes instead of my sunglasses. I was like, no wonder my eyes feel squinty, but I can see everything. I could see everybody I ran past, but
When I first started wearing glasses, like this was before, this was like when I really first started wearing glasses. They feel like you're wearing sunglasses on your face, but you forget that people can see your eyeballs. And I would find myself like looking at people, and then I was like, oh crap, they can actually see I'm looking at them.
I am
Now
not
this is
hiding.
awkward.
Yeah.
I've just made this really awkward. Now I can't stop staring. Why am I still staring at this person?
So wait, did you keep a ton of things, then just give her back the bag, or did you keep the whole bag?
No, I did not keep that whole bag. It was a lot of garbage. So no, I just kept my Michael Kors sunglasses, and Aaron put his glasses back because they barely fit on his face. He's got a large head, so.
Well, I think the next restaurant you go to, you should ask for their lost and found. It should be, this is the beach version, right? This is the season premiere, our pilot
Right.
episode of Lost and Found, and you're going to go to the next place and see what their lost and found has. I think Aaron is going to find a great pair of sunglasses.
Here's the thing. I feel like this works better at the beach because all the patrons are transient, right?
Right.
But if you go to like your local restaurant in Chattanooga where people come back for their stuff,
Yeah.
You
People
know?
come back, and then I come back, and then they see me with their stuff. That's awkward.
it was her. She took.
I had a pair of glasses just like that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God. This is related, okay? And I'm going to get there. But did I tell you about my worst job ever?
No.
Camp counselor. Age.
Which is also the best job ever because it prepares you for everything in life.
Oh, I don't
Conflict
know.
resolution, eventual vomit,
insane.
either for yourself, your college roommate, or your children.
Yeah.
It is the all-in-one job that doesn't pay well but has life lessons galore.
I will just say that I was a counselor for 12-year-old girls for 8 weeks, and you would think that being put with the nerdy bunk would be great, but they were so mean to each other. The nerdy
Really?
girls were extra mean to this other nerdy girl. Like
Was
one
she not
time
nerdy enough?
they poured water in her bed and then tried to convince her she had peed in her bed.
That's
Like they're so
terrible.
mean. They're so awful to each other. And then there was this other little girl who was completely psychotic. Her parents, she,
I hope she's not listening. No names, no names.
I don't care if she is. You know what? She should have been medicated over the summer, and I think her parents took her off her medication and left her with an 18-year-old me who had no idea what to do. And she started stealing weird things from one of the campers, and one of them was a retainer. Okay? And she didn't just have it in her possession, she put it in her mouth.
What?
And the other thing, back to what we were talking about, not only sunglasses, prescription sunglasses.
What is she going to do with prescription sunglasses?
How about both of these things that are extremely customized to the person who owns them? We're not just talking about a t-shirt or a hat or regular sunglasses. These are prescription sunglasses that you put on and you can't. Have you ever put on someone's prescription glasses?
Yes, it's debilitating if you don't
Yes.
need glasses.
Right. And then retainer? Why would you put someone's retainer in your mouth? That is some desperate call for attention
That's some
that
serious psychosis.
an
Yeah.
18-year-old doesn't know how to deal with. I did not have the skills. And I would just tell you that being a CIT 2 years earlier, there was no training for this.
No.
None whatsoever. Oh,
Gross.
anyways, worst job ever.
Worst job ever. Well, I'm watching the worst show ever. And this is what happens. When I get, first, and I will preface it by saying I have been reading this summer. Summer's actually when I get a chance to also read that's not work-related reading. And I read this book that so many people had said was great, and it's not a new book. I'm not even going to say the name because it doesn't deserve it. And I got to the end, and I had to go backwards because I didn't realize that was the ending. It's like, and not in a good way, not when like, it's over. I was like, wait, what?
That's
It's
over?
over. I was screaming at this book for a good hour. I was like, I'm really so sorry. And I said, no, I have invested, and I was really into the book, and then it ended, and now I'm really mad about the book. So what do? I make matters worse, and I go find a show on Netflix that is equally bad that I can't stop watching. But I have to tell you, I'm going to tell you
need
the
to
name of the
resolve
show.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the name. I only watched the first season. There's only one episode in the second season out, and they've already changed the format to make it even worse. I didn't think it was possible. It's possible. I'm going to tell you the name of the show because I'm pretty sure you haven't watched it. And you have to tell me what you think the premise of the show is. It's pretty obvious, but I want you to see if you can guess, okay? Here's the
Okay.
name of the show, legitimately. Fit to Fat to Fit.
Okay. It's about someone who is in really good shape and then they gained a lot of weight for various reasons and then they went back to being fit again.
That is very good and 90% correct. I mean, you're
Okay.
there except for a few little details. It is about personal trainers who have
Okay.
taken on a client. Every episode's a different client, and the client is overweight. And so the personal trainer has decided, because the producers have convinced them of this, that they need to gain like 30% of their body weight over 4 months. And then over the next 4 months, they and their client lose the weight together
That
because
seems
because it breeds like empathy, sympathy, understanding.
what?
It is this crazy show. And to gain, some of these men and women, it's men and women that are, I mean, tight fit, 6-pack or 8-pack abs. And then they go from not exercising, or they go from exercising, twice a day and eating only healthy, measured out food to not, they can't exercise for 4 months, and they have to, the amount of calories they have to eat to gain anywhere from 40 to 70 pounds in 4 months is really, it's disgusting. I mean, it is all
But that
fried,
can ruin your
greasy.
health for like
So
ever.
a lot,
Like
so there,
it's like
yes. So a
what's
lot of them go, well, not a
what's
lot.
that documentary called? Supersize Me.
Yeah, super
It
size
ruined
me.
his health
Yeah.
where he like ate McDonald's every day for like 30
Yeah,
days.
and that was only a month. And they're under doctor supervision, and some of them, even after just 2 months, have high blood pressure, have to be on medication. It is transformational, both good and bad. But here's the part that really, well, a lot of it bothers me, even though I
Yeah.
did binge watch
You
the
want to be
entire
on
season.
TV that badly that you listen to these show
Right.
producers?
Yeah.
I just, how can you be duped into that?
Well, the other thing is how they say from fit to fat. And I've realized that the women who are these personal trainers are, they're incredibly fit and very skinny, and they have to get on the scale. When they get fat, they're kind of at my weight. And so I'm thinking, I feel like I'm fit. I work out 5 days a week, right? I'm not like, in some bikini bod and modeling or, certainly not now or anytime soon. But I also don't feel like there's, a level where you are fat. And also some of the people they train, some are very overweight, but I wouldn't say they're fat. And I think it is just a degrading show altogether
Yeah.
because it makes everybody feel bad, including the person watching it, who is me. So now
But you're stuck watching it because you're trying to get it to resolve.
it's because once I invest in something, I stubbornly usually stick with it.
Yeah.
And it's also, there's resolution. It's why I used to love watching The Biggest Loser, because I love transformation. I love when somebody cleans out their closet. This is why I love the two women who, did the house overhaul. I love the extreme home makeover, right? I loved anything where you can go from something that needs help to something that looks extraordinary. So I love that there is transformation within whatever, the 45-minute show, which I usually fast forwarded. I went straight from where they introduce everybody to the very end. It usually took me 10 minutes to watch an episode, to be fair. But anyway, I feel better about this therapy session. And I watched the second episode or the second season already, and they've totally changed the format where now it's like you and someone you know. So one is a married couple, and she's the fitness expert, and he's overweight, and this is going to end in divorce. I'm telling you.
They're making her gain weight for this?
Yeah, but she already by like the first
Why would
episode,
you do
she's
that?
not doing it. They're not making her. She's voluntarily doing it, but it's not healthy. It's not, and it's not accurate. It's a
How would
scripted
that
version of
motivate?
this.
How would that motivate your partner? Like putting your health at risk motivates your partner?
Right.
That's ridiculous.
No.
How much are
the
they
whole
paying? They're
premise.
probably not
Yeah.
even paying anything. By the way, those makeover shows, they're constantly a producer from like Wife Swap or the home makeover shows, or they're constantly posting on our neighborhood Facebook page trying to get families to join it. And I know this because everyone loves to tag me on this stuff. Like I'm not like, look, but the thing is like, first of all, you have to, if it's like a backyard makeover, you pay for it.
Right.
You're not, they're not paying for it, right? Like they might pay for like labor, maybe a little bit, but you're paying for everything. You have to have a budget in mind. It's not like you're just being filmed. That's it.
Well, there was another show.
I would never do wife swap.
There was another show I did
Unless I got
binge watch.
another wife. I would only do wife swap if they gave me a wife. I don't want someone else's husband. Give me another wife. We'll make it work.
Well, I binge watched another show this summer, and the host is from Orange is the New Black. Her name's Danielle in real life. Anyway, that show was totally
which
fake.
character was she in Orange is the New Black?
Oh, gosh, I knew you were going to say that. Hold, please.
I was in that NBC pilot with one of the characters from Orange is the New Black.
I don't think.
Dasha.
Her name's Danielle Brooks.
Oh,
and
yes.
She played Tasty Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
Very identifiable. She's adorable. Love her. So Danielle hosted this show, and I don't even remember the name, but supposedly they had an accomplice who got the family out of the house at 7 a.m, and then by the time they came back at 7 p.m, their whole house was redone.
How can they do this without permission from the owner?
Okay, so that's one. There's no way. Number two is there are so many families on this show. You and I both know there is no way on any given day, and especially not on a Saturday or Sunday, that your kids are up and at 'em at 6:30 in the morning and in the car at 7, even if with the promise of like hot dogs in a pool at a neighbor's house. It's not happening. And to stay away for 12 hours is literally not happening. So I started, of course, that was more distracting than the show was entertaining.
The logistics and the reality of.
Because I just couldn't, it was so fake. And even their reaction, like when they came home and there's Danielle, in the middle of the street going, hey, guess what? We've redone your house. So, and someone else, so I went, I Googled this show and said, this can't be real. Like basically with those keywords.
Parameters,
And everyone said the same thing. Yes, there's no way this is real. The homeowners, number one, have to know what's going on. And number two, some of this takes some serious permitting. So there is no way they could do any of this without the homeowners knowing and them getting permitting from the county, the city, the state, whatever that means, and alerting the neighbors who, of course, are going to tell the people. So it's all so staged. The only thing I don't think that is staged is the fact that they actually do make over this house in 12 hours. Now I'm worried about the quality of the work because 12 hours and they do serious makeover. I mean,
yikes.
I mean, almost entire homes. They add rooms, physically add rooms or redo kitchens. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd be worried about the electricity and plumbing in that situation because it's one thing to just build a room.
Yeah.
Right? Walls and some plaster. I don't know. I'm just kind of simplifying it, but all the other stuff, I don't even know. How do you even, and then also with permitting, like there's like all these steps to approvals. Yeah. Do you have like the permit person just sitting there all day being like, yep, that's good. I'm going to get into an argument with you for 15 minutes. This would have taken place over 15 days, but because it's TV.
Right. In other news, I was traveling last week and I know everybody has, we're all back on the travel bandwagon now that I won't say COVID's over, but COVID's manageable. Now that COVID is
now that we're all
thing,
right? Like it doesn't exist.
So I was traveling last week for work, and I started to experience some, first when everybody was driving again, there was serious road rage because everybody was back. Now there is some serious airplane rage, and it's a little disturbing, but it's also a fascinating sociological experiment of sorts. And I'll tell you what happened, and then I'll tell you the conversation I had with the guy next to me who has been traveling all through. He's on the road every 2 weeks for work. Did not stop during COVID, and he loved traveling during COVID because there was nobody on the airplane. But he said the people who started traveling again, it's like they've never traveled before. So I'm sitting, I get on the plane. I always get on as soon as I'm able to get on because I always do carry on. I want to be able to put my bag above me. The overhead bins fill up fast no matter where you're sitting because nobody wants to check a bag these days. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to pay. This woman gets on, and I will stipulate I was flying from New Jersey. Not to stereotype New York or New Jersey people, but they can be a little bit more aggressive and vocal about their concerns, I'll say. So this woman gets on, she gets in her row, and to be fair, all of the bins are full above us in Delta Comfort, and she's got a carry-on suitcase. So she starts looking around, and she's like, well, I don't know how these bins are full. hello, who's got this stuff up here? Can you move it? Because I can't put my stuff. So we're all just sitting there like, well, good luck with that because nobody's moving it. I think she had assumed people in the rows way behind us had put their stuff, but really there's not even enough room for the people who are just in our rows. Right. So we all sat there and she would not stop. Let me also say, she got on early enough that there was an open space 2 rows behind us. And someone said, well, I think there's an opening right there. She goes, well, I'm not putting my stuff back there. That's not where I'm supposed to go. I'm supposed to go right here. Somebody move their stuff.
There's no assigned bin.
Well, there is. If you're sitting, in row 50 and you put your stuff in row 13 along your way, that is annoying. But that's not what happened.
But sometimes that's the only spot because everything has been taken.
Yes, but this was early on enough that it was just our few rows, and mine was directly in my row, so I knew I was not the culprit. But I'm just watching this unfold, and nobody's looking at her. Really, nobody's looking at her, and nobody's talking to her. And I kind of wanted to say, look, if you don't put your stuff right there, that's going to fill up, and you're going to be 10 rows behind us. But I put in my AirPods. I shut my mouth.
Here's a question. There. Did you turn on your AirPods or did you put them in to pretend like you weren't listening? Because that's what I would have done.
Maybe a little of both. I really wanted to see, it is like watching a car wreck. I felt bad a little bit, but more I just wanted to see how it played out. So then what happened is even sort of funnier and more tragic. So there was this like one little spot next to her row, and she kept trying to shove her suitcase in there and couldn't manage it. I am like the Tetris player of packing. I could have totally gotten her luggage in if she hadn't been so acerbic and made me a little afraid of her. And so I just sat there, and so she tried a few times, and then she just sat there as if magically somebody's bag is going to move. Well, in the meantime,
she just stood in the middle.
She stood in her seat with her bag, not wanting to put it behind. And so then she was waiting on a flight attendant to tattle, to say, somebody's put their stuff where my stuff should be. Can you get them to move it? Which the flight attendant's like, I don't know whose stuff this is. And the flight attendant tried to move the stuff, didn't. So now fast forward, now the plane is filling up. She still hasn't put her bag away.
What a baby.
Yeah.
God.
And so as it's filling up, I think she's realizing, okay, I'm going to be really far behind. So she finally gets up to go move. This is like scripted TV. She gets up to move her bag, probably 6 rows behind us. And then a woman comes with her carry-on. Mm-hmm. She manages to successfully shove her carry-on into that small space. That was the only small space left. But then she keeps walking. So she was sitting like 10 rows behind us and did what you were saying. Like she saw that things were filling up. She just shoved it there. And this woman saw her and she's like, oh. And so she was so taken aback. And now 2 other people come in the same row and the guy starts complaining. He's like, there's nowhere to put my bag. She goes, yeah, tell me about it. I got on early and I didn't have a spot. And so the guy had seen, I think, this other woman put her bag in from when he boarded the plane. He starts yelling at that woman. He's like, you need to get your bag and put it where you are. She goes, there's no space. He goes, well, this is my designated space. She goes, I'm just going to say that it's whoever gets their space, and I'm not moving my bag. Yeah.
I'm with her at that point. It's whoever gets their space. Yeah. I've never...
It was crazy.
There's not assigned like buckets.
Well, there is. It will say this is for first class, this is for Delta Comfort, and then everything else. So there are little signs that say it. But at this point, it's every person for themselves. Just shove your luggage somewhere. So now he's upset. So now we've got like we've got a road rage row going on because they're all fueling themselves, and they're like, oh my, it is crazy. So I'm just sitting there. I'm like, ooh, this is going to be good. And then she drops the big bomb. She goes, well, don't worry. As soon as everybody gets off the airplane, they have to get their luggage. We're going to see whose luggage it is. And I'm like, ooh.
They're going to wait?
Right. I was like, this is going to turn into like a mafia hit. Like they're going to wait. Right. And I got very nervous because the guy sitting next to me had put his bag in her overhead, which is right in front of us, right? It's still legitimate. But I was very nervous for him and his wife because I don't think they were fighters. They were not going to engage. Luckily, none of that happened because everybody who had put their stuff way back popped up, as I would have done, and ran back there as soon as the plane landed to grab their stuff. So We never had any altercation, but the guy on the next plane I was telling this to, and he just told me he has seen it all, like from airplane rage to people who are like some of the rudest people you've ever seen. He said, number one, and his big thing, which is one of Alan's pet peeves, he goes, I've been watching people, how they don't understand the etiquette of letting people get off the plane by row, right? There is a spoken and unspoken rule that the first row goes, the second row goes, right? You wait, even if somebody wants to wait and needs extra assistance and doesn't get out, fine. But otherwise, you do not go till all the rows in front of you have evacuated. And people not only don't know it, if they know it, they don't care. And it is annoying.
Oh my God. I feel like people have gotten so aggressive. It's scary. Now there's all these videos too.
Yeah.
Right? Of showing this drama unfold. I thought you were going to get out your phone for a second and start your own reality show.
Yeah, I could have. I mean, it didn't escalate to that point. Thank goodness, and sadly, but it was, and also, look, at least the flight attendants aren't having to insist on the masking and monitor that and police that situation, because that was a whole other level of contention and rage. Talk about rage. Now it's just people who have totally forgotten about airplane etiquette, and
they're just moody.
Yeah, I'm just going to put that into my bucket of first world flying problems. So there you go.
I think I was that person's counselor at Camp Vermont.
Yeah. They definitely, I could see that. The other thing I'm upset about, all this happened within an 18-hour travel day, is I took an Uber for the first time in a long time. And out of curiosity, I was looking at, I always love to see what the Uber score is of the person picking me up. Not that I have, any control over it, but I had two excellent Uber drivers. One was a 4.99 and one was a 5.0 star driver. I decided to look at my own Uber score. It's a 4.93. And I am incredibly upset by that, because for the life of me, I don't know what I did to deserve anything less than a 5-star rating.
I know what you did.
What did I do?
You didn't stop talking.
All right. You and my husband just said that at the same time, if he's listening to this right now, and are both laughing at the same time. I don't appreciate that. I may resemble that comment, but I also resent it. Maybe, but they want to talk.
I'm just guessing. Now there's that option when you do an Uber where you can say whether you want a quiet ride or not, but the driver doesn't get that option.
Yeah.
They don't, and they should. They should also be able to say, hey, can you hush? A little hush now. Because now there's that, in the taxi cabs, you have partitions.
Yeah.
There's not that partition
I had a friend
anymore.
that she never wanted to talk to the Uber driver. So on the special needs would put hard of hearing, because that way they wouldn't try to talk to her, until she got the Uber driver that yelled to her the entire ride, because he's like, I see you're hard of hearing. Everything okay? She's like, oh my goodness, I really just didn't want to talk to anybody for this whole ride. But thank you, sir, for ruining that too.
That's some comeuppance right there.
Exactly.
I feel like that's what would happen if Daddy was an Uber driver,
He'd be yelling at people.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of Daddy, so we've talked about this before. I think we did a whole podcast episode called The Binder of Death, which is Daddy's very organized way of letting us know what we need to take care of when he has moved on from this world. And I keep on saying, you need to turn that into, you need to publish this. Other people need a binder of death for their family.
Not his specifically,
not his,
but
no,
a template, right?
They don't need his passwords or know where to find all of his various insurances, which evidently there's an insurance for everything. But I went into a store the other day and they had the binder of death. It wasn't called the binder of death, but,
which would have been a better name. Yeah.
So anyways, it's out there. And
sorry, Daddy, you missed the boat.
Right. I think we could do better branding though. I think a binder of death TM, we should contact a lawyer, an IP lawyer, and get that taken care of.
You get right on that.
Well, thanks for listening to the latest Sis Tell podcast. Don't forget to share us with your friends, share us with your family, share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.